confirmed number of cases of the coronavirus in Los Angeles County today comes to 67,064. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 2,768. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 422, with total confirmed deaths at 48. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Jin Chen. It's 4 p.m. on Wednesday, June 10th. In response to public outcry over the death of George Floyd and the demand for change and social justice, the House Judiciary Committee held a hearing this morning, just one day after Floyd's funeral. Focusing on racial profiling, police practices, and law enforcement accountability, many speakers were invited to share their testimony. Among the many invited speakers included family members of victims who died as a result of police brutality and misconduct. Villanay's Floyd was the first to speak, along with Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo, who's joined virtually for his testimony. Civic leaders like Mark Morial, president and CEO of the National Urban League and once mayor of New Orleans and Louisiana state senator, said this was a moment of bold and courageous actions. Civil rights attorneys and leaders like Sherilyn Ifill, president and director counsel of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, also spoke remotely, calling on the federal government to make changes to address police brutality in African-American communities. In the wake of George Floyd's death, peaceful protests and rallies have taken place all across the world, sparking a civil rights movement. People of all ages, ethnicities, and genders calling for police accountability, change in systemic racism, and solutions to social inequalities. The Policing Practices and Law Enforcement Accountability hearing comes on the heels of new legislation proposed by congressional Democrats that unveiled a broad range of police reform policies. The 136-page bill called Justice and Policing Act 2020 is said to have more than 200 co-sponsors in the House and Senate. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is expected to bring the bill to the Senate floor for debate and a vote before the end of the month. Four-star General Charles Q. Brown Jr. is making history. The Senate unanimously voted and confirmed the next Air Force Chief of Staff, making the decorated pilot the first African-American to lead a U.S. military service as its highest-ranking officer. Brown spoke out about the protests and reflected on his own experiences with racism, both growing up and in the military. He shared a 4-minute video letting the world know what he's thinking about regarding the current events surrounding the death of George Floyd.
I'm thinking about how I can make improvements, personally, professionally, and institutionally, so that all airmen, both today and tomorrow, appreciate the value of diversity and can serve in an environment where they can reach their full potential.
Brown is currently the commander of the Pacific Air Force and oversees more than 46,000 airmen serving in Alaska, Guam, Hawaii, Japan, and Korea. Brown will be the first black member to sit on the Joint Chiefs of Staff since Colin Powell. Brown begins his 4-year term after he is sworn in on August 6th. California health officials say they will be closely watching Los Angeles County along with 8 others, putting these regions on an official watch list. The warning is part of the county-by-county process where local health officials verify their region has met certain benchmarks and has a proper response plan in place should the virus begin to spread again. The state is putting the 9 counties on watch over concerns of one or more of the benchmarks. If the issues are not appropriately addressed, the next step in the state's process is to reinstitute community measures, meaning renewed restrictions and the possibility of another stay-at-home mandate. According to the California Public Health Department, each county must have sufficient progress over a 2-week period on containing their disease transmission and hospitalization rates. Torrance City Council members met over Zoom last night to discuss city business. The highly anticipated agenda item of the night was the proposed revisions to the 2021 fiscal year. City Manager Leroy Jackson stated that due to the stay-at-home order and impacts to the economy due to the shutdown, the city was significantly impacted with a severe loss of revenue in the last quarter and moving into the next fiscal year. Finance Director Eric Sau walked the council through the various recommendations by staff to help close the gap. The projected deficit of the second year of the operating budget ranges between $21 to $25 million. The areas of revenue hit the hardest came from the hospitality and retail industries. Sales tax is expected to decrease by 14%, occupancy tax down by 24%, and business license tax down by 20%. Tsao suggested a phased approach to balancing the budget with a combination of budget mitigations, department reductions, and deferring raises and freezing vacancies. Tsao was optimistic that the city's revenue would return to Torrance as the economy continues to recover, but he cautions that it will take time as the current climate is not only volatile but unpredictable. Tsao said he anticipates in a year the city will be in a much better position than where we are today, and the city should be able to adjust the budget accordingly. Several programs recommended to continue funding included in-car and body-worn cameras, the Torrance Cultural Arts Foundation, the Armed Forces Day Parade, and the city's Rose Parade float. The second portion of the budget workshop will take place next Tuesday, June 16th. Council members also received updates from Police Chief Eve Berg on the city's efforts during the recent civil unrest and applauded her team as well as city departments and staff for their collaborative efforts during these challenging times. Efforts included support in protecting local businesses and communities following George Floyd's death, when looting and vandalism was a threat in the community. City Manager Leroy Jackson also gave highlights of the city's efforts facing COVID-19 and what steps are now being taken in its recovery process. He shared that the many restaurants and retailers have reopened and are following safety protocols. Recommendations for expanded dining options were also discussed. Now you can watch replays of the entire meeting tonight and tomorrow at 10 p.m., Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. due to the meeting's extended length. It can be seen here on City Cable over the air on 25.2, streaming online and on demand on YouTube. As the city prepares to reopen public counters, staff are working hard to ensure all safety measures and protocols are in place. Now you'll find these blue social distancing decals throughout the city at the Benstead E-Plunge, the Armstrong Theater, Sierra Golf Course, the Permit Center, and all the libraries. You'll also find sneeze guards at many of these locations where there is a public counter, like at General Services, the Cultural Arts Center, the Office of Cable and Community Relations, and City Hall. Since mid-March, public counters that serve the community in various departments were all forced to close due to the safer-at-home order. As the city works towards recovery and reopening plans, the community is encouraged to utilize many of the online resources that the city provides, as well as staying informed and updated by signing up for Torrance Alerts, the city's official notification system. You can do that online at torranceca.gov/Torrance Alerts. A pilot program was proposed in the downtown Torrance area, offering the many eateries located there some options to expand their dining capacity. Now, this was also brought up at last night's city council meeting to let council members know of the outreach by city staff to continue to support local businesses. Now, here's a mock-up of what Sartori Avenue could look like if business owners approve of the idea. The Office of Economic Development, along with Public Works and Community Development, proposed temporarily blocking off one of the main streets in downtown Torrance to create an alfresco style dining experience. This would allow restaurants who are currently limited to serving at 60% capacity to increase their ability to serve more customers. A scheduled webinar took place today with the Downtown Torrance Business Association to get their feedback on the pilot program. Staff plans to present a proposal to council next Tuesday, June 16th. As schools wrap up and more industries are expected to reopen by the end of the week, one place you can plan a visit to is the San Diego Zoo. The zoo and safari park is set to reopen to the public on Saturday, June 20th, ending a closure since mid-March due to COVID-19. Park officials say this was the first major closure in the organization's 103-year history. Now they've branded their return, calling it Roaring Back. Officials say it won't be the exact same experience you might remember, as health and safety precautions will be put in place for visitors. A limited number of guests will be allowed on the grounds at any given time, and only limited dining and shopping areas will be open for now. The zoo is also introducing new cleaning routines, adding more hand washing and sanitizing locations on site, setting up one-way walk paths, and encouraging guests to wear face coverings and social distancing. Guided tours and a few of their attractions will continue to remain closed for now. The Los Angeles Zoo has yet to announce any reopening plans. Well, if you're headed south towards San Diego, there's another destination along the way that's hoping to reopen in just a few weeks. Legoland California Resort in Carlsbad said they are gearing up to welcome back visitors by July 1st, but will have strict health and safety guidelines in place. Families visiting the park will be asked to book tickets online in advance. They'll be subject to temperature checks when they arrive. Visitors will be asked to bring face masks and make contactless payments rather than using cash. And some of their rides and attractions may remain closed. Many of California's theme parks, Disneyland, Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm, and Six Flags are all expected to make a reopening sometime this summer. Today, Universal City Walk had its soft opening with limited dining and shopping options. Officials say they are planning a phased approach, opening only a few stores at a time. As California lifts more restrictions, one industry says they'll be ready for the public come July. AMC Theaters, the world's largest theater operator, said they expect to have almost all of their locations reopened by mid-July. Cinemark, which operates roughly 6,000 U.S. screens, say they plan to fully reopen by July 10th. Cineworld, which owns Regal Cinemas, the world's second largest chain, is also tracking for a July reopening. Guidelines include limiting attendance to 25% capacity or 100 people, whichever is less, staggered arrival times by moviegoers, wearing masks when not eating or drinking, and you may be able to order your favorite concession snacks from an app rather than in person to minimize contact with employees. Ushers would help with social distancing, directing entrance and exit traffic. Companies are also considering using disposable or washable seat covers on seats that are difficult to clean. Many anticipate movie releases that were postponed since the pandemic hit include Warner Brothers' latest thriller, Tenet, slated for July 17th, and Disney's Mulan, slated for July 24th. As hotels slowly begin to reopen just in time for summer travelers, if the outdoors is more your speed, then you'll be happy to hear many of the state's parks and campsites will be opening soon as well. Now, if you haven't decided where you want to go, check out parks.ca.gov. There you'll find state parks listed by name, region, city, and county. Yosemite National Park is set to reopen as early as tomorrow, but it'll require some pre-planning on your part. To limit a surge in visitors and to help stop the transmission of COVID-19, California state parks have implemented some temporary safety measures. While not all 280 park sites will open right away, the ones that remain closed will mean those hiking trails and restrooms will also remain closed. There will be limited car access at the remaining parks that are open, and a reservation will be required. At Yosemite National Park, the number of entrances into the 1,200 square mile park will be limited to 1,700 vehicle passes per day, with passes good for 7 days. Now, if you go to reservecalifornia.com, you can fill out the camping site you're interested in visiting, what dates you'd like to stay, and what style of camping you're planning. California is home to the largest state park system in the country. The Department of Motor Vehicle will resume back to normal in-person services at all of their field offices beginning tomorrow. Out of the 169 DMV locations, only a third had reopened with modifications in place since the closures in late March. Officials are urging customers to continue to utilize their online resources, to visit the DMV office only when absolutely necessary, and to come prepared. In-person services include reinstating a suspended or revoked driver's license, applying for a reduced or no-fee identification card, commercial driver's license transactions, or vehicle verification, among other services. Safeguards are in place to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, like requirements to wear masks and social distancing for both employees and customers. Hand washing stations will be available to customers at select locations, and employees will have access to hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes, along with face shields and gloves. Behind the wheel test, however, will not resume just yet due to social distancing concerns. The DMV is prioritizing anyone who had an appointment that was canceled due to the closure. After those are rescheduled, a limited number of new appointments will be allowed. Officials hope to resume back to normal activity and help customers with and without an appointment beginning in just a few short weeks. The Torrance office is located at 220th Street near Western Avenue. If you're considering going out to eat tonight, there's a local restaurant in Torrance that you might want to consider. Just for today, Fishbones Seafood Grill, located in the Rolling Hills Plaza on PCH and Crenshaw Boulevard, is participating in Restaurants for Roses. In partnership with the Torrance Rose Float Association, 15% of all sales from today will be donated back to the association. Now, you can show the waitstaff a digital image of the flyer or bring a printed copy with you. It takes place until 8 p.m. tonight, and they are offering dine-in service as well as carry-out. You can find more information on their website at torrancerosefloat.org or check out their Facebook page. Well, as we head into graduation week here in Torrance, we want to celebrate the class of 2020 and all of your big milestones. Congratulations to Megan Wright. She is a graduating senior at Torrance High School. She ran on the cross-country track team all 4 years of high school. She's headed to Cal Poly Pomona in the fall to study early childhood education. Congratulations to Gil Bothwell. He is a graduating senior at Torrance High School. He ran on the varsity cross-country team all 4 years, 3 years as team captain, and also played on the Torrance High basketball team his freshman and sophomore years. He is graduating with honors with a 4.4 GPA. He is the ASB Commissioner of Athletics, second lieutenant of Tartar Knights, and a member of the National Honor Society. Gil is headed to Chapman University in the fall. He plans to study business and continue to run at the collegiate level. Congratulations to Jet Hayes. He is a graduating senior from Torrance High School. Jet is an accomplished athlete. He played varsity water polo, varsity football, basketball, soccer, and baseball. He has been an avid volunteer since he was 6 years old. He's also a National Honors Society member and produces independent films in his spare time. He is headed to Carnegie Mellon in the fall. Now, Jet and some of his friends who are featured on today's show will get to take part in tonight's modified graduation ceremony for Torrance High School seniors. Each night, a different high school was able to have their own socially distanced celebration at the Rodeum in Torrance. Jet also created this video sharing where he and some of his friends will be headed in the fall. What great memories they will hang on to as they embark on this next chapter.
What's good? My name is Brandon Colvin, and I'll be attending Cerritos College to study hard and kill it on the track.
My name is Evan Sheardown, and I am going to El Camino Community College.
My name is Michael Wilson, and I'm going to UC San Diego.
Gil Bothwell, Chapman University.
Kristen Light, Cal State Long Beach.
I'm Jason Prophet. I'm going to Purdue.
I'm Tim Cassius, and I'm going to UC Irvine.
Yo, what's up? My name is Mihir Menon, and I'll be attending UC Irvine next year.
I'm Megan, and I'm going to Cal Poly Pomona.
I'm Durchi, and I'll be going to Northeastern.
I'm going to UC Santa Cruz.
My name is Jalen Brar, and next year I'll be attending the University of California.
Hi, I'm Riley Zink, and I'm going to... I forgot.
My name is Jet. I'll be going to Carnegie Mellon. Perhaps. Probably.
My name is Luke Richardson, and I'll be attending Marymount College in the fall to play baseball.
I'm Santi, and I'm going to Elko. P.S. I love you, Jet.
Congratulations to all of our graduates. Now, whether it's a preschool promotion or college graduation and every milestone in between, send us your photo and let us know what school you are graduating from. We'll be sure to share it on our show. Email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share stories from our community. Feel-good pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and reflects how Torrance truly cares. Well, just about a month ago, we introduced you to a young lady named Katie Chung. Now, she's a local high school student who felt compelled to give back to her community during this health crisis. So she turned to what she knows best, and that's running. She pledged to run 136 miles in the month of May and had a goal of raising $1,000. She created a GoFundMe page and said all of the funds would be donated to Torrance Memorial Medical Center. She said it's her way to say thank you to our local medical heroes. And this week, Katie surpassed surpassed her goal and clocked 142 miles on the pavement. That's a little over 33 miles per week. Wow. What an inspiration. She also raised $1,180, Katie presented the check to staff at Torrance Memorial Medical Center this week. Mary Wright, Senior Vice President of Patient Services and the Chief Nursing Officer, along with Shanna Hall, Vice President of Nursing Services, were there to accept the donation. Katie is a member of the South High Cross Country team. She exemplifies so many of the ways community members, local organizations, and business partners have continued to show how Torrance cares. Now, if you have a great story or have pictures or videos you'd like to share or just want to say hello, please email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. Stay informed by signing up at torranceca.gov/Torrance Alerts. Subscribe to City Cable's YouTube channel and be sure to like the city's Facebook page. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow at 4 p.m. as Ben McCain brings you the latest updates. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.